All right, we have Jason Villacourt.
Hey, Irene. How you doing, brother?
Oh man. So you actually have a really long history in music.
I do. I do. I appreciate you remembering that.
I feel like it would be a fun history to
Oh my
like,
gosh. Yeah.
like learning about the Civil War. Um like where do we start? Who's the first Jason?
First, Jason was I was in my uncle's apartment when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old. I think I was coming back from like a baptism or something. And my my uncle started playing Another One Bites the Dust, by Queen on his
Yeah.
speakers. And they were like ginormous speakers set up.
Yeah.
And I was this little kid, and he started playing that. Dun, 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 dun. And it just like it did something to me that age that I was like, I want to know how to do that.
Yeah.
And then when I was about 6, 7, my parents put a keyboard in front of me and said,
Nice.
make us dance. So I would sit on the keyboard and go from like the disco to the samba to the rock, you know, presets, and then improvise by just
Mm.
playing over those beats and then just watching them dance, in the kitchen and just try to make music.
This
That's
goes
how
really far back.
yeah, that's where I first started, like that love, you know, for music.
Yeah, I think I played the drums because my dad liked the
Oh,
drums.
really? No way.
It was very shallow.
Oh, wow. That's cool, man. Did you play like the whole set or just like an individual drum?
Wait, what was the last one?
An individual drum, like a snare drum or like a marching band type of thing? Or
So I haven't touched the drum set since the sixth grade.
oh, wow.
But every now and then I'll like get a drum and I'll mess around with it.
That's what's up. Why not? That's cool.
So what's next?
What's next? Oh man, then I started taking piano lessons formally at the age of 7, and then when I went to elementary school band, the teacher said to me, "We don't have the saxophone anymore because that's the instrument that I wanted to play."
Yeah.
He was like, "But you have big cheeks and long arms, so you should play the trombone." And so he gave me a trombone, and that's what I played all the way up until college. And I
Beautiful.
studied classically, and I trained pretty hard, and that was my jam. And I also did church music. I also participated in, doing like recitals and church offertories. I'd be that kid on the piano at the front of the church and doing my little solos, and also I would sing too over cassettes. That's
Wow.
freaking vintage. I remember I used to sing this song called "He's Alive,"
Ooh.
and and I was just a kid, man, just singing my heart out. So that's when I first started like singing with my music, and then yeah, that's what that's what happened there. And, and then I went to college, went to community college. I tried out for a bunch of conservatories, didn't get in. Either I didn't have the talent or I didn't have the money, so I couldn't go. So, but I was pretty good at the community college level, and I did that for 2 years, and then I transferred to U of A and had a full ride scholarship and lost it on drugs, and I stopped going to class, and I thought I was too cool and too good,
Yeah.
And when I went to U of A as a freshman, when I enrolled, I I had beat out the top, TA, doctoral TA for the
Yeah,
trombone gig in the
yeah,
orchestra. So I thought I was pretty hot shit, so I didn't feel like I
yeah,
needed
yeah.
to do anything. And I eventually failed and then had to go back to Phoenix. And that's when I started getting into missionary work and trying to like get my life sort of like back together, you know what I mean? And then that's when I got in missions, and that's when I got involved with the church, and I started then participating in worship music more and more and more, and then next thing, I'm at the tent.
For the last one?
I'm at the tent, and I'm just you know leading worship on the campus of ASU, and praying with kids, and just leading worship, and it's pretty awesome, man. And everything was cool, and then I wasn't making any money,
Yeah,
and it's hard to be when you're being supported full time, always, constantly, always like asking for money. Hey, can I have this so you can, and it's
yeah,
tiring.
yeah,
And so I needed to step out of ministry, and I needed to get into like a career of some sort because I needed to make money.
yeah, yeah, for sure. That's my trombone playing wife, by the way.
No way! What? Aw, how you doing? What? That's cool.
Yeah, he played trombone.
Yep, trombone.
Yeah, I think I remember I think around that time,
Yeah,
Josh Hill was also uh like kind of in your same position. He
yeah,
wasn't necessarily making music,
yeah,
and he had a book and it was like how to fund your ministry, and it was a
yeah.
guy who had a giant like ball and chain connected to him, and he would always point that out. It's like,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah, I
that.
need money.
I remember that script very well, man. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Be gone. Right.
it's all right. But yeah, I did that, and then I got into Z Dental,
Yeah, yeah,
and so I found a gentleman at our church that I attended, and I had noticed that everyone was going up to him and asking him for money. So I was like, this guy is rich. Like
yeah,
this guy is the guy. Like, and if everyone's going up to him, like, hey, can you fund my ministry? I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna do something else. So I went up to him, and I remember, and I said, hello, sir. I noticed that a lot of people are asking you for, support, and that's really amazing that you do that. But I don't want to ask you for anything. I want to work for you and want to make money, and I want to
yeah,
make you money. And he was like,
yeah.
who are you? And so, yeah, I showed up that following week and got plugged in. Started making kits for $8 an hour, and then you know I was frustrated making $8 an hour. I was putting kits together in boxes all day, and I was like, I need to do something else. So I noticed that some employees of theirs wasn't like really working; they were slacking. So I
Yeah,
went up to them and I'm like, hey, I don't know what they're doing, but I feel like I could do what they're doing. Give me a
yeah,
shot. And they said, okay, see what you got. Come next week with whatever you got. And I'm like, cool. So I didn't sleep for the weekend, studied YouTube, all the graphic design elements, creative design, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, all that advertising stuff. And then um, I showed up on that following Monday with my computer and monitor and got to work, man. And they hired me as a graphic designer.
No,
And
I
so they
didn't, I didn't
bumped
know
me
that's how you
up.
got into it.
Yeah. And they bumped me up like $2 or something. And then I was like, oh, this is whatever. But I'm not doing kits, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, yeah,
And then Kanye West tweets out an image. I don't know if I have it here, but it's an image of a book that he's holding upside down in the image, and everyone just dogs him on the internet and says, "Oh, you're an idiot. You should have that picture the other side. You have the picture upside down. Kanye, you're an idiot. Blah 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 blah. Like you know what you're doing. What's this book for? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. All this, you're an idiot." And I'm like, this is stupid. So I right clicked and saved that image. And I'm like, there's a reason he put that book out there. And then like 5 minutes later, he deleted the tweet because I think he just got tired of people just
yeah,
talking,
yeah,
down. And then I looked up that book and it was the principles and methods of design and of graphic design or something like that. And
yeah,
so I read the whole book and researched it like crazy. Later that week, boss hands me an assignment and says, I want you to take this ugly box that we have for this toothbrush and I want you to recreate something original, something different. I don't know what,
yeah, yeah,
something that you can, you do something with it. Maybe you can figure
yeah,
out how to sell this thing. So I took the less than $5 to make Chinese product and made it look like $1 million. And we sold it to a bunch of insurance companies so that they could, give it to uh, their people. And the reason I bring that up is because it's so crazy that I researched that United Healthcare, a CEO, when
yeah,
I worked at Z Dental. Like I had to research the hell out of him. Like I knew everything about all the insurance CEOs. I researched, like I knew where they went to eat at lunch. I knew their favorite
yeah, yeah,
colors. I knew like everything because it's all social. It's all out there. And I just
yeah.
compiled that information and then we would present projects to these companies so that we can sell our brushes. And it worked. So it's a trip to me to know that I made product uh, for UHC and all this stuff is now, going on with the
Yeah, I mean,
CEO.
it's wild to like, even at that point, if you hadn't like made it with music,
Mm.
but here you
Right,
are,
right, right.
you're making waves in other places even before the music.
It's crazy. So that's been very I've been very disturbed by that.
Yeah,
The whole situation is
it seems like
insane,
they're
man.
taking down like all their info now. So like what you were able to do,
Oh, I
it's
know.
going to be
I,
hard to
I
do
went I
again.
went to UHC's website this morning to look at the CEO, and there was no information on the about us. You know how you can usually see like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
all there's no one's up there now, which is crazy and sad. But anyway, our CEO died, Mary. And so when I was working there at Z Dental, that that really messed me up, man.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was there when it happened. I like loosely knew like the people involved.
Yeah. There's some unspeakable things, that that happen during those times. But it I never lost anyone that I
Yeah,
loved, and that loved me. I had never lost someone like that before in my life. And when I did, that crushed me, man. And it hurt. Like a pain I've never experienced in my life. And I felt like the world was just over. And so I didn't know how to work. I would show up to work and I'd be literally staring at my computer and just stare at it for like 4 hours, 5 hours, then do a little work and then just stare and then stare at the carpets, like the carpet wall, like
Yeah.
the cubicles, because she was on the other side of me. And
Yeah.
so that lack of presence just destroyed me, man. And then
Mm,
that's when I found drugs like
yeah.
hardcore. And I started doing MDMA and I started doing a lot. And then I was like, I gotta realize my goals and my vision and my purpose, like, and my
Yeah.
talents. I gotta get them out there. I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting here and blah 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 blah. I gotta put my art out into the world. And
Yeah.
so I made a 3-track demo and I submitted it to Tony Williams, who's the cousin of Kanye West, and he loved
Yeah.
it. And so when he sent me back the feedback, I was like, I'm quitting my job now. Because if a Grammy Award winning artist likes my music, I'm like, and I
Yeah.
only took 20 minutes to make 3 original tracks,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I might be onto something. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this. So I quit. Then I sold my house and I went
Wow.
to Ukraine and I lived in Ukraine, man. And I was there for like almost 10 months. And I went there to study underground house music and techno so that I can
Yeah.
bring more to the table so that when I do get in Kanye's room, like I have more to bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I went and I sold my house, I sold all my possessions, and I went, and it was insane. The clubs were incredible. There's no sound laws or regulations, so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sound was just like bomb, 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 like just incredible sound. And I love the culture, and I learned so much, man, about the unity and the community of the people and how
Yeah.
hard the people work, the Ukrainians, and how like they have so little, but they look
Yeah.
good. They also know how to present themselves. They clean up, they clean their
Yeah.
environment, they
Yeah.
clean their communities, they love their land, they love each other. And there's a very high respect for that in that society there. And to experience all of that was just like a huge blessing, before I had to take off because the US government emailed me 1 week after I left Ukraine telling me I need to get out of Ukraine, which is crazy to me because I was like, are you fools not paying attention to what's going on this side of the planet? For in the beginning of August, I heard gunshots in the training facility about 2 blocks away from where I lived in Kiev.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the month, they started going, and
Yeah.
by the end of the month, there were full on explosions, and my building was shaking. And I was like, there's a war that's about to happen. And I would watch the local news, and we would watch the tanks from Russia just slowly creeping in, and we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I talked to my lawyer in Ukraine, and her brother was in the military, and kind of informed me and let me know, like, you kind of want to, I don't want to say it, but get out of
Yeah.
here. And I didn't know where to go. So I moved to Denver because Denver was top 10 electronic music cities in America
Okay. That makes sense.
and #1 in drum and bass in the world. So I'm like, I want to study. And
Yeah.
so I moved there and started going to the clubs there, making music. And by this point in time, I've made over maybe 700 songs, like in my personal catalog of my
It
band.
makes sense now. It makes sense now why you did that.
And yeah, just learning from the culture and trying to understand why Eastern Europe really loves techno, man. And I think it has to do a lot of the traditions from past, like polka influence, all of
Hmm.
that uh, musical influence, and it's my thinking that it just gets faster. And
That makes sense.
that's all it really is. And they put their little melodies that they had of the past and they fuse them in. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like a reminder of the old days, but just more current, it feels like for me. But it was an amazing country, man. I only spoke a little bit of Russian here and there. Mainly I was relying on Privyet and then sign language. But I was really thankful for Google Translate because
Yeah.
I could literally hover over all the, items in the grocery store and just
Yeah.
not be confused, So that was really
Yeah.
cool,
There you go.
you know. And then came back to America, was in Denver then, right? And then uh everything is going well. I think, oh my gosh, this is good. I'm on my way. I fly to Dallas to interview with Tony Williams, who is
Yeah.
Kanye's older cousin, and he doesn't say yes and he doesn't say no, but he's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to contact you in a couple of days because I want you to, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. And before I could, I heard anything from him, I sent him a message and I said that I wanted to back off from this. I cannot continue because I have my own mental problems
Yeah.
and I want to be good when I go to you so that when I'm in your presence, we can work and we can just, we can kill it.
Yeah.
And he loved it and he thought it was a good idea. And so I was like, I'm going to wait about a year, I told him, and then
Yeah.
we can connect. And he was good with that.
Yeah.
And within that year of waiting, Kanye does his anti-Semitic rants.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when I lose my shit, man. And I'm just like, I just go off the deep end. And I don't find value anymore in life and anything because all my value was in getting this gig, right? And
Yeah.
so I had sold my house. I had done all this training. I had done all this
Yeah.
research, spent all my money, and now
Yeah.
here I am, broke as a joke with nothing. And I was like, well, I guess if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out like a rock star. So I started doing a shit ton of coke and MDMA and acid and shrooms and mixing it all up, all to the point of then one night I took 4 grams of Molly,
Yeah.
pure rock, and I I should have died.
Yeah.
I was in my bed laying there for 24 hours shaking
Oh, wow.
uncontrollably and I couldn't see. I was blind.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I didn't know what was happening. And then finally like I kind of slowed down and stopped shaking and all that and came out of that bullshit like a few days later. I was finally like
Yeah.
coming down, but the repercussions of that were huge. I didn't have a job anymore. I didn't have a car anymore. I wasn't going to have a place to stay anymore because I didn't die and I'm still alive. And I don't know what to do. So I messaged my friend Dustin, who worked at Z Dental with us for a little
Yeah.
bit here and there. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to die if I keep living here. I need you to help me, or it's over.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sending you money right away for a ticket. You're going to hop on that plane tomorrow and you're going to be here at my house and I'm going to take care of you as long as it takes. And I got on that flight, man, and I moved to Austin, Texas. For about 5 months in Austin, it felt like the people who were talking to me, like right in front of me, felt like I was sitting in a warehouse by myself in an empty warehouse in a chair with nobody in it, and everyone's on the outside talking to me in it, like they can, like I can hear them normally, but I can't hear shit. That's how fogged up my mind was. I couldn't
Yeah.
form sentences. I couldn't talk. I could
Mm.
barely think. And now I'm more than a year sober and clean.
Very cool.
And as you can tell, I can talk now,
Yeah,
talk too
yeah.
much. I, it's coming back, but it hasn't come with its, side effects. Like, I clenched my teeth pretty hard for like 7 months, and I chipped the inside of my teeth
Yeah.
from clenching so hard. Um, I couldn't get a job, man. Nobody wanted to hire me. I looked so strung out. When I went to the gas station, and this is not a diss or anything, but the cashier says to me, EBT, sir, like that's the level of wretchedness of like of not well put together that he
Yeah,
assumed
yeah.
that I was, food stamps.
Yeah.
I lost 150 pounds in 4 months. It was insane, man. And I would stay in my room and just like, oh, just clench my teeth and just sit in my chair and grab my chair and just, please gravity hold me down type of, feeling.
Yeah.
And I just had to keep fighting it and keep making music. And
Yeah.
so now I'm like having to relearn how to make music
Yeah.
because I got so good with it on drugs
Yeah.
that that's what was like fueling almost everything. Because I
Yeah. Yeah.
was I was cranking music out, man.
Yeah.
Like I could write 10 songs in like an hour.
Yeah.
And now it takes me almost 5 days to think of a melody because I can't think like that. I have to like it's not like before. So I'm catching up though.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
coming back for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's why like my newer music doesn't have as much surprises in it, attacks from nowhere, uh,
Yeah.
this sudden surprises here and there, and
Yeah.
tempo change. And now it's like, okay, breathe, figure it out. You can do this. So it's been tough, man. And now here I am. I'm living in Arlington with my friend's mom, who has adopted me, and I'm like basically
Nice.
like she's like my grandma now. So I call her
Beautiful.
grandma, and she helps me out, man. And uh, she's even given me her car
Nice.
to do work, to do Uber and to get an income. So I feel like I'm on the up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also want to say thank you to you here publicly because when I didn't have money,
Yeah.
like when I messaged you that one time and I said, "Hey
Yeah.
Armin, can you help me?" Like I hadn't eaten in 3 days, dude. And I didn't know who to ask. I didn't have anything. And then it happened again. I asked you twice. So thank you, man.
No
You helped
problem.
me like literally like keep living. And you need to know
I
that,
remember
bro,
this.
because it's very real to me. And I know it
Yeah.
may not be another story for you, but for me, it was hella real, bro. And if I didn't have
Yeah,
that,
no, it's
I don't know where I'd be, bro.
yeah, no, you're right. Because you want to smile and have a happy face, but then like you hear this stuff and then you're thinking, "Oh, okay." And so then I don't know, maybe there's like this
Mm.
it's like a political correctness where you have to always like be upbeat. Um
Sure,
you can't
sure.
really be super net. It's like, "Hey guys, I'm not doing good."
Right, right. Yeah, yeah,
You say you were working for Uber?
yeah. I've
So
been
like
doing that
your
for
story was
almost
really in
3.5 years now.
so your story is really intense. Um but it's kind of funny because I know a guy who, wants to make music, um, kind of is kind of like you, kind of makes music that kind of sounds like you.
Hmm.
Um, and he did some drugs. Well, he did, like, I don't know. One time he did drugs and he had a manic episode. And so he just walked around on the street for 7 days.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and when he came back, he he didn't have a place to stay because he didn't pay his rent because it was at the end of the month, and he didn't have a job because he didn't show up to work. And then for some reason, they also took his car. Um, and so then he was hanging out with me, and he was doing Uber. So it just seems like a musical thing. You got to have like those crazy breakdowns to make the breakdowns in the music.
Yeah, it's putting life in your music. Yeah,
Yeah, there's like that correlation between like being depressed or whatever
yeah,
and making art.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Yeah, I think if you were happy all the time, you would not want to make any kind of art.
Nobody
There.
wants to listen to the Beach Boys all day, bro. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I feel like, a lot of art is just like you kind of feel some strong feeling. It's
Yeah,
not you weren't like feeling great. Like when you're doing really good, you're not thinking, "I'm gonna make some
no,
art."
right, right, right. But I force myself to do it because who else is going to tell that story? Who else is
Exactly.
going to tell
Yeah.
that emotion? I view myself as like almost like a documentary historian. Like I have to leave clues for the
Yeah.
future type thing, like
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
journey. Yeah, man. That's been my journey. And here I am. And I have an album that I'm dropping on Friday.
Okay.
Um, my website's getting all rebranded by Wednesday.
Good.
My merch shop opens tomorrow.
Good.
And I'm dropping 10 new videos on Thursday on all platforms.
Yeah, the difference between you and my friend is that you're doing stuff. He has an excuse. He's younger, but you're doing it right.
It's tough, man. Art,
I
art is
mean,
art is more than I thought. You know,
what'd you say?
art is way more than I thought. You know, the lady who I'm staying with, my grandma here, her husband who passed away years back, was a composer,
Wow.
uh, guitarist, arranger, and if it wasn't for him, too, like I wouldn't be here. You know,
Yeah.
because like I'm in his house. You know, and this is him. I just want to shout him out.
Beautiful.
Love you, Rick Flotting. He's a gem, man, and he's an awesome guitar. He was an awesome guitar player, you know, and he used to give Dave Mustaine guitar
Oh,
lessons. So he's legit, man, and he has like music all over the world. And so I came to a house that adores the arts, right? Not even knowing, dude.
yeah, it's kind of funny, but so if you were to look at like specific moments in your life, it would
Yeah,
look like terrible or that doesn't make sense. But that as a
yeah.
whole picture, it's a pretty coherent and great story.
Here's another epic thing. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you listening to me, man. Shit. When I sold my house in Phoenix, and before I moved to Ukraine, I had to like figure out, okay, how do I get my passport? How do I
Yeah,
get to Ukraine? All that stuff, right? So I stuck in Phoenix for about a week and a half, and
yeah,
I stayed at this Airbnb, random,
yeah,
again, random, bro, random Airbnb. And as soon as I walk into the house, is this old man, and he's got a tenor saxophone on the floor, an alto sax on the couch, a flute over there by the
yeah.
table, and just a bunch of woodwinds. And I'm like, what is this? Who is this? Who is this guy?
Hallelujah.
And so I go up to him and I'm like, excuse me, sir. I gotta ask, who are you? And he's like, I'm like, no, 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 no. You do not understand. Like, I need to know, who are you? And he's like, do you play sax? He's like, yeah. Can I hear? I haven't played in a while, man. I guess. He picks one out, picks up the alto, checks it out, looks at the reed, licks it a few times, and just goes crazy, bro. Like, and I'm just like, and then finally, when he's done playing his little like improvised lick, I'm like, who are you? And he's like, I used to play lead alto sax for Ray Charles.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh, show me. How? What? And he was like, let's go back over here. Went back to his study room,
Yeah.
opened the closet doors, brought out the box, opened it up, cassettes of his performances with Ray Charles, and then he had pictures with Ray Charles, and just like him and Ray Charles, just hanging out. And I'm just like, what? Ah. He's like, yeah, man, I was the only Jewish guy in the band. It was good, man. Ray loved me, man. And I'm like, tell me a Ray story, please. He's like, yeah, man. One time, this is like a story that no one's ever heard, right? Even like internet lore.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he said that he 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 dented or he dropped his saxophone and he messed it up. And so he had to go get it repaired, but he didn't have any money. So he, common theme here. And then he was like, I don't know how to play it with this horn all messed up. What do I do? So he went to one of the band leaders and he's like, hey man, what do I do with the horn? And he was fixed. He's like, just go to Ray, man. Ray will help you. That's the big man. Are you sure? He's like, yeah, man, go. So he went to Ray. He's like, hey, Ray, my horn. He needs some money, man. And he gave him money. He's like, go get it fixed. Hurry up. He went and got it fixed.
Oh yeah.
That's how awesome he was. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And so I asked him, hey, man, can you record some things and maybe you can be on one of my albums and my tracks and hear like me like please. And he's like, yeah, let me hear what you got. He didn't say yes. He's like, let me hear what
Yeah,
you got first. So I
yeah.
was like, okay, this man's legit. I appreciate that. It wasn't so like, oh, just because you're here type of thing. So it was cool. And then he heard my music and he's like, let's do it.
Beautiful.
And so I'm looking it up right now. And he's on two of my tracks. One of them I've already released. One of them I have not. I'm still holding on to it. But it's this one. It's called Dangerous Love. And it features Jay Weinstein.
Oh wow.
And then I'll play it to the part where he plays a solo. This is his solo here. You'll hear it in a second.
You hear it? Is it playing?
Oh yeah.
I think it might be Zoom.
Oh man. I shouldn't play too much of it. I could get copyrighted.
Yeah,
Sorry, man.
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, it could be the noise canceling feature. They're like,
Uh that's okay.
but that's too bad.
Yeah, no, but it's cool. If you want to check it out, it's called Dangerous Love.
Yeah, maybe I'll include a
So
link in the video description.
be cool. But yeah, that's something like crazy that happened out of like I would have never met him if I would have never sold my house or gone to Ukraine or any of that, I hear that. All these like coincidences that happen,
Yeah,
it's just little miracles, man. Little miracles.
I think at this point I'm speechless. I have to let you go.
No problem, bro. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.